Hi, numbers are awesome, and that's what I kind of want you to walk away from this year, if you don't already think so, when it comes to math, is that numbers are really fun to play around with. Once you start understanding things and applying it, remembering it, and learning it, it's really fun to kind of use these strategies wherever we are in math. So I want to talk to you about a few things so you can be successful today. The very first thing I want to talk to you about is doubling and halving. Okay, so what that means is this, basically. So if we have an equation like 6 times 2, okay, that is the same thing as the equation 3 times 4. Okay, and look what the relationship here. Half of 6 is 3, the double of 2 is 4. Okay, so anytime you have two numbers, if you take half of one and double the other one, you are going to get an equivalent equation. They are equal. And the reason that's important is because if you have a problem like this, 50 times, let's say, 34, okay, a little bit harder than that, you can turn this, the equivalent. If we double 50, we have 34. We have 100 times 17. Okay, that's a much easier, okay, quote unquote, this is a less likely you're going to make a mistake, okay? Understanding times 10 times 100, very important in the world of mathematics, and that's 1700. So again, we take this 17, we move it, it moves 2 spots to its left and is replaced by those zeros there. So we're not adding zeros, we're moving that number. Okay, so this idea of doubling and halving, we really want you to don't just do something, stop and think before you do anything. Look at a problem, think about, okay, I know doubling and halving. I know I can do that if it's multiplying. I know that I can do, doubling and halving. It's just such a good strategy in order to double something and to have it. Hopefully you know too that if you have something like 50 times, let's say, what's an odd number, 13? You can double and half this. You can make it 100 times. You just need to know what the half of 13 is, which is 6.5. Okay, all odds have a half, and all odds end in 0.5. But if you struggle with that, then maybe this isn't a good strategy if you notice this number is an odd number. Okay, so be aware of that. There's problems when we're having odd numbers if you don't if you're not paying attention. What else is something we're going to be looking at today? Oh, we have to play around with numbers. So for example, if I have the number 19, let's use 9 for instance, okay? If I have 9 and I'm multiplying 9 by, let's make it 14, okay? I might not know that, okay? What I'm allowed to do, okay, what I'm allowed to do as a mathematician is I can create things, again, a little bit more straightforward, a little easier for me. Because I need to get down to 9, and I know my subtraction, I know that 10 minus 1 equals 9, and that's going to be important. I know that 10 minus 1 equals 9. And the reason that's important, the reason that's cool, is because if I do 10 times 14, and I'm putting parentheses around it so I can group it, I know that's the math I'm going to do. Minus 1 times 14, okay, this is the same thing as 9 times 14. Okay, this says I'm going to do 10 times 14 and I'm going to remove one group. So 10 minus 1 equals 9. So this is the same thing. Okay, so 10 times 14 minus 1 times 14 is gives me 140 minus 14. And that's going to give me the answer of what? 116? No, that would be 30. 26. Because 140 minus 14 equals 126. If you struggle, so when you're working on these, you may struggle with subtraction. So we're going to have to stop and think about what are some positive or what are some good strategies for for subtraction. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, just like this parenthesis up here. All it's saying is when we see a parenthesis, it just says do the math in there first. Did it pause? No. Okay, good. So in the most basic example here, we have a problem like this. 3 times 2 times 3. Okay? All that means is I can rewrite this as 3 times 6, and that gives me 18. Okay, so this 3 times 2 became this 6 here. Alright, so there's just a parentheses. It's an easier way to kind of group things. It's just teaching you what these parentheses mean for when you get into algebra and you're able to recognize those. Okay? If you're struggling, if you miss like 2 in a row, stop and find me. Call me over and I'll help you out. Because I know that was a little rushed. It's lunchtime and I gotta go. See you.